Apple just did something they've never done before. They made a MacBook that costs $599. Not $999. Not $1,099. $599. And here's the wild part. It's actually good. Like, genuinely, surprisingly good. Good enough that it's already being called one of the most disruptive laptops Apple has ever shipped. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly what you're getting, what you're giving up, and most importantly, who should actually buy this thing. Let's get into it. First, let's talk context. Because the MacBook Neo isn't just a new laptop, it's a new category for Apple. For years, the cheapest Mac laptop you could buy was the MacBook Air, starting at around $1,099. That was the floor. If you couldn't afford that, Apple basically didn't have a product for you. The MacBook Neo changes that completely. It was announced on March 4th, 2026, went on sale March 11th, and starts at $599 for regular buyers, or $499 if you qualify for education pricing. That puts it squarely in the budget laptop market, the territory of Chromebooks and entry-level Windows machines. And Apple isn't tiptoeing in, they're going straight at it. Now, the way Apple got the price this low is interesting. Instead of using one of their M-series chips, the ones in the Air and Pro, the Neo runs the A18 Pro. That's the same chip inside the iPhone 16 Pro. And that decision has a lot of implications, which we'll get into. What you end up with is a laptop that sits below the MacBook Air in Apple's lineup, but doesn't feel like a stripped-down budget product. It feels like a real Mac. And that's kind of the whole story here. Okay, let's talk about what this thing actually looks and feels like. The MacBook Neo comes in 4 colors: silver, blush, citrus, and indigo. And these aren't subtle, understated tones. They're fun, playful. The keyboard and feet are color-matched to the chassis, which gives the whole thing a really cohesive, intentional look. Apple is calling this the most colorful MacBook lineup ever, and honestly, they're not wrong. Build-wise, you're getting a durable, recycled aluminum enclosure. This doesn't feel like a cheap plastic laptop. It feels like a Mac. It weighs 2.7 pounds, and it's slim enough to toss in a backpack without thinking twice. One thing worth calling out: this is actually the first MacBook to have a notchless display since the 2022 MacBook Pro. Clean, uniform bezels all the way around. Speaking of the display, it's a 13-inch liquid retina panel running at 2408 by 1506 resolution, 218 pixels per inch, with support for 1 billion colors and up to 500 nits of brightness. It's sharp, it's vibrant, and it's more than capable for everyday use. Is it the best display Apple makes? No. But it's not far off the MacBook Air, and at this price point, nothing else in this range comes close. One port callout you should know about. There are 2 USB-C ports, but they're not equal. The left one is USB 3, the right one is USB 2. External display output only works on the left port. If you're a heavy peripheral user, just keep that in mind. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The MacBook Neo is powered by Apple's A18 Pro chip, 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine. It's paired with 8 GB of unified memory, and that number is going to raise eyebrows. So let's talk about it directly. 8 GB sounds like not enough in 2026. And on a Windows machine, it probably wouldn't be. But Apple's unified memory architecture works fundamentally differently from traditional RAM. The CPU, GPU, and neural engine all share one high-bandwidth memory pool, and macOS is extremely efficient about how it allocates it. In real-world use, reviewers have been running 30 to 60 Chrome tabs alongside apps like Mail, Messages, Spotify, and Google Docs simultaneously, with no freezing, no beach balls. Smooth. iFixit's repairability report aside, for everyday productivity, the Neo doesn't flinch. On benchmarks, the A18 Pro scores around 3,461 single-core and 8,668 multi-core on Geekbench 6. For context, that outperforms the M1 MacBook Air, a laptop that was considered excellent not long ago. For creative work like photo editing and 4K video, it handles it. Export times are slower than an M-series Mac, but the actual editing experience doesn't feel sluggish. One creator who tested it put it bluntly: editing 4K video on this computer is totally fine, even with every other app running. Where you'll feel the 8GB ceiling is in extreme multitasking or very heavy workflows. If you're a power user running dozens of apps and browser tabs constantly, you'll want to step up to the MacBook Air. But for the target audience here, this chip is more than enough. Battery life. Apple claims up to 16 hours, and real-world testing backs that up for typical wireless browsing and streaming. Because the A18 Pro is such a low-power chip, the Neo runs completely fanless. No vents, no fan noise. Ever. Complete silence. That same power efficiency also means you can charge it with a small power bank if you're running low on the go, which is a legitimately useful perk for students and travelers. On the AI front, the Neo ships with full Apple Intelligence support. That 16-core neural engine handles on-device AI processing, which means smart writing tools, photo editing enhancements, real-time text summarization, and advanced Siri capabilities all run locally without sending your data to the cloud. Apple claims the Neo delivers 3 times the AI performance of a comparable Intel-based PC, and given the neural engine's architecture, that's a credible number. Third-party AI apps like ChatGPT and Canva also run natively, and the Neo shipped with Mac OS Tahoe pre-installed, which brings the full Apple Intelligence feature set out of the box. Camera and audio are solid for a laptop in this price range. 1080p FaceTime HD camera, dual mics with beamforming to isolate your voice, and 2 side-firing speakers with spatial audio and Dolby Atmos support. Video calls look good. Music sounds better than you'd expect from a thin laptop. One more thing worth mentioning. iFixit gave this one of Apple's highest repairability scores in 14 years. Screwed-down battery, screwed-down keyboard, no parts pairing, modular ports. That's a meaningful quality-of-life win for long-term owners. Alright, let's be real about what you're giving up, because there are real compromises here. RAM. 8GB only. There's no upgrade option. If you need more, you need a different laptop. Full stop. Storage. The Neo only comes in 256GB and 512GB configurations. No 1TB option. If you store a lot of locally, budget for the 512GB model, which, by the way, is the one you probably want anyway because it adds Touch ID to the keyboard. The base model has a lock key instead. That $100 upgrade from $599 to $699 is worth it for most people. Ports. 2 USB-C ports. No MagSafe, no SD card slot, no Thunderbolt. For most everyday users, this is fine. But if you regularly connect multiple external devices, you'll want a hub. Performance ceiling. It's great for everyday tasks. Solid for light creative work, but it's not an M-series Mac. If you're editing long-form video professionally, doing heavy music production, or running demanding developer workloads, the MacBook Air M4 is the right call. So who is the MacBook Neo actually for? It's for students who've always wanted a Mac but couldn't justify the price. It's for parents buying a first laptop for their kid. It's for anyone currently on a Chromebook or aging Windows machine who wants a real upgrade without breaking the bank. It's also genuinely compelling for anyone who just needs a reliable, everyday computer. Web browsing, email, video calls, documents, light creative work, and wants the build quality, software ecosystem, and longevity that comes with a Mac. What it's not for is power users, heavy creatives, or developers who need maximum RAM and performance headroom. For those people, step up to the MacBook Air or MacBook Pro. The money is worth it. But for its target audience, this might be the best laptop you can buy under $700. Not the best budget Mac. The best laptop, period, at this price. Apple has been selling premium laptops for decades, and the MacBook Neo is proof they know exactly how to do the same thing at a price nobody expected. It's not perfect, but for $599, very little else comes close. If you found this helpful, drop a like and subscribe. I cover the latest in tech every week so you don't have to spend hours doing the research yourself. And if you're trying to decide between the Neo and the MacBook Air, I'll link a comparison video in the description. See you in the next one.